My own mother uninvited me to her wedding. I was told that my mom always wanted to have a daughter. Before meeting my dad, she had picked a name for her future daughter, Victoria. She told everyone who cared to listen that her daughter would be a beautiful princess. When she met Dad, and they got serious, she timed her ovulation and conceived me around a time when she felt I would likely turn out to be a girl. When Mom discovered she would have a girl, she was overjoyed and went shopping until the baby's wardrobe couldn't contain another pink dress. Alas, I was born, and Mom took one look at me and burst into tears. She was upset because I looked like my dad and not her. Dad looked very masculine and he had distinct features that made it hard to forget his face. And I was his replica. The nurses convinced Mom that it was too early to tell who I would look like and to give me a few months. Mom didn't want to hold or touch me until she was sure I would someday look like her. Dad was responsible for me, feeding me, staying up at night with me, and when he was overwhelmed, he hired a nanny to care for me. I was barely a year old when Mom told Dad they should try for another baby. She was sure she would conceive a daughter who would look like her on her second attempt. But she ended up having a boy, and because my brother, Todd, looked like Mom, she treated him better than me. Mom had another son, Sam, who also looked like her. Dad was a construction worker and did his best to ensure we always had everything. But it wasn't easy to please Mom as she wanted to live a fancy life. Dad and I cared for our home and my brothers because Mom never bothered about anything related to us. When I turned 10, she started staying out late, and sometimes she would stay for days. Mom and Dad started fighting a lot and she would blame us for their problems, saying we were ruining her life. One day, Dad went through her phone and found out that she was having an affair with a local club owner. They had a messy divorce, with Mom trying to take away our home even though she didn't want custody. She said Dad could have us but wanted the house, which she didn't get. Mom's new boyfriend was rich and could give her the life she wanted, so she quickly forgot about us. A year later, Mom showed up and seemed remorseful. She told Dad that she wanted us to be in her life and was sorry for everything she did. My brothers accepted her apology readily, especially when they saw the stuff she got for them. She picked us up later that weekend and took us shopping and we met her boyfriend officially. I didn't like him, and he didn't seem to like me either. He asked Mom if she was sure she gave birth to me and that I didn't look like her. The two of them burst into laughter while looking at me weirdly. I was so embarrassed that I didn't want to go to their place anymore. Dad was upset over what they did, but he told me to speak with Mom and let her know how it made me feel. When I spoke with Mom, she said I was overreacting, and they weren't laughing at me but at an inside joke. A few months later, I discovered why Mom returned to our lives. She was pregnant, and she had found out that she was going to have triplet girls. She wanted to rub it in my face that she finally had her wish. One day, she asked me to go shopping with her and bought loads of clothes and toys for her unborn babies. I saw a shoe I liked in the kids section and asked if I could have it, but she said she had no money left on her card. On our way back to her place, she stopped at a jewelry shop to have 3 little bracelets made for her girls with their initials. Mom had also picked out their names. She asked me if I was upset that she couldn't get the shoes for me, and I told her not to worry about it. When the babies were born, my brothers and I visited Mom, and we brought flowers and gifts for the babies, but I wasn't allowed to go in to see them. I was told the room would be too crowded, so only my brothers could go in. I stopped visiting Mom afterwards. She didn't have custody of us, so I was not obligated to visit her. Every weekend, she sent her chauffeur to pick up my brothers and would treat them to good times. Once, my dad asked the driver to wait so I could pack my bags and join my brothers as Mom wanted to take them on a road trip. The driver looked uncomfortable, so I said I didn't want to go anyway. Dad insisted that he must tell him why he wasn't pleased with me joining them. After a long pause, the driver told Dad that Mom instructed him not to bring me to her place. Dad was livid and was going to call her, but I asked him not to. My brothers started spending more time at Mom's, and they couldn't understand why I wouldn't go to Mom's. I didn't have any friends in school, and Dad was busy most of the time, so I started baking out of boredom. I asked Dad to buy me all I would need for my new hobby and he did. After a while, I realized I enjoyed baking and wanted to be a professional baker someday.